listen. Purple Lit Nerd gonna show you what you're missing. Welcome to the Purple Lit Nerd podcast for December the 16th, 2017. Wow. Excuse me. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my house, which I call Thistledew. Yes. So, as I have to do at the beginning of every episode, right now, excuse me, spoiler alert. Fucking spoilers are ahead. If you have not read American Gods by Neil Gaiman, you need to get with the picture, get with the program, go to Amazon, find it, buy it, read it. It's amazing. But stop listening to this show, because there will be spoilers. Unless you don't care about spoilers. If you're like me, I don't care about spoilers. I am just one of these people that I'm like, in a lot of ways, it actually makes things easier on me. Anyways, but if you care about spoilers, stop listening. Just stop right now. Go get the book. Go read it. I got it on Audible. 10th anniversary edition, full cast production. Oh, it was so good. So good. So yes. So what are we going to talk about this week? We are going to talk about the Norse Pantheon that appears in this book. And I didn't make my list because I'm an idiot. So this may be a little meandering, and I apologize. So, this book is full of allusions. That's not actually how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I pronounce it that way because it's allusion, but you don't want it to be confused with illusion with an I. Allusion with an A versus illusion with an I. So I say allusion, so there's no confusion. Ha! That freaking rhymed. Yay me. Anyways, so the first Norse theological, not mythological, theological. Listen to my other episodes and you'll understand why theological. Character to appear is Mr. Wednesday, who is the American manifestation of the Norse god Odin. Actually, let me pause here and say that my greatest understanding of Norse, old, ancient Norse, however you want to put it, theology, comes actually from Neil Gaiman. He released a book back in February. I think I actually purchased it in April, called Norse Mythology, which bothers me, but you know what? That's the word that everybody else is comfortable with, so I get it. I say theology because these are the stories and ideas that built up the religious practices of these cultures. And so I would like to show respect and understanding of that, because I don't want somebody coming up to me and saying, well, I was reading through some of your Christian mythology. Excuse me? No, it's fucking theology, because this builds my religious practice, and you can disagree with it all you want, but show some damn respect. So, if I want the respect, I have to show the respect. Side note. Anyway, so this is mostly coming from Neil Gaiman's retelling of Norse mythology. He calls it mythology. Theology. So just to cite my sources and where I'm working from and all this. Funnily enough, I actually read Norse mythology before I read American Gods. Go figure. And I probably would have enjoyed American Gods less had I not done that. I don't know. So anyways, first we have Mr. Wednesday, Odin, American Odin, and he's characterized as a con man / grifter, and I think that's actually fair to say about original Odin OG, original god Odin. Though he was a lot more cunning and calculating. So why is this character called Mr. Wednesday? Well, if you didn't know, 4 of the 7 days of the week are actually named after Norse gods. Yes. Because a lot of these Norse gods were actually worshipped in Eastern Europe, specifically in kind of the Germanic region. And so you have Tuesday, which is named after the god Tyr, god of one-handed combat. Wednesday, which is named after Odin. Well, what? Odin? But it says Wednesday. Wednesday. Like, what? In Northern Europe, not, Scandinavia proper, but Northern Europe and Germanic area, Odin was often... Bleh. Why do I do a podcast when I can't even talk half the time? Odin was often referred to as Woden, or Woden, because V's and W's are sort of interchangeable in a lot of ways. So you have like Woden, and that eventually, Woden's Day, eventually evolved into Wednesday. Thursday is Thor's Day, and Friday, I hear one of 2 things about Friday. It's either Freya's Day, she was one badass Norse goddess, usually associated with fertility and combat and stuff. But then I've also heard that it's named after Frigg, which is Odin's wife. And I could see how both would come about. But Frigg, I don't know what her dominion was. Probably, as most women, is fertility and harvest and all that, moon goddess type thing. Except I think the moon was generally associated with masculinity in Scandinavia. Anyways, so that's why Wednesday. Why Mr. Wednesday? And that's probably why in this universe, the American version of Odin survives is because every time we say Wednesday, it's like a little prayer. Prayers equal power to God, to Odin. Go figure. Anyways, so he's the big main player. And then we have Loki Smith. Now, as soon as we meet Loki, he actually, it's spelled Lowkey, like 2 words, Loki, haha. We meet him, he is actually, Shadow's cellmate for a time in prison. And he also is a grifter, which is very significant of Loki. But as soon as I heard that name, Loki, I was like, yeah, he's gonna play a role. And I just didn't know when it was gonna come about, but I knew. The funny thing, and I feel like it's one of those, like, should have had a V8 moments, right, is his last name, Smith. I didn't really think much of it, and then it hit me, like, Smith. He is a smith of lies. He is a maker of lies. Loki, yes! Because Loki, in Norse theology, is a kind of god of chaos. He's like, it's really funny because he's most of the gods in Asgard, because you have like 9 realms, and Asgard is like the like head honchos where like Odin and Thor and all them hang out. But all of them are ostensibly related in some way, because Odin helps create the world. He's called the All-Father. But Loki's not really related. Like, he's, it's not like in Marvel Comics where he's like Odin's adopted son. No, like Odin and Loki are like blood brothers. They've, done a sort of blood ritual of something, swearing that they will be bonded. But all the gods in Asgard seem to keep Loki around because he's really, 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 really smart. He's really, 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 really cunning. And there's some really cool stories where Loki actually kind of comes off as the hero. But Loki's kind of the Norse trickster god. You see a lot of, if you read through various pantheons of folklore and theological, mythological beliefs, you notice in almost every single culture there's at least one, especially in these polytheistic cultures, there's always at least one trickster, and sort of that purpose is to say, look, you can't trust everybody, I guess. With the kind of exception being Christianity, but that's a debate to have another day. So, but Loki is the Norse trickster. But in some of these stories, he's actually, like, kind of the one that saves the day. Like, Thor goes missing, and Loki goes and gets him, and saves him, or helps orchestrate the saving of him. I forget what that story is, actually. Because, my mind feels like it's going to explode any day now. Anyways, so, but in American Gods, Loki, and in original Norse mythology, he's also a shapeshifter, so he can take on different forms and kind of mindfuck with people. So there's this character in the book, and that no one can ever remember. Like, well, Shadow, anyways, can't remember him. He'll have a whole conversation with this guy and then forget every bit of it. And I mean, we never get to hear the conversations. Like, why, Neil? Why do we not get to hear the conversations? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation about who this deity represents. And I read something today that it could be the Roman god Mercury, who's often associated with Quicksilver, which means that it's sort of gone before you can hold it, sort of thing. Like, I don't quite know how to explain it. But I kind of wonder if there's a possibility, mind you, that's actually Loki in disguise, mind fucking with everybody. Because he's playing both sides of the story, because you've got Wednesday's side where it's like, oh, we old gods, we need to take out these new gods, and you've got these new gods going, fuck off, old gods, it's called progress, right? And you've got Loki essentially leading the new gods, but they don't realize that he's actually Loki.